This episode of Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you are listening to the Capes and the Lunatic Sidekicks podcast.
Hello and welcome back to your weekly Comic Capers, the show where Lilith Hellfire demands more Captain America. I am Phil. Joining me as always, as I said, Lil, Cap's #1 fan.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's still July.
And once again, coming to us from New Jersey, Marvel's #1 fan. It is...
in a freshly painted apartment.
Ooh.
Charlie, the Professor Esser. The fumes, they
The
power
fumes
me.
and the apple juice. What will happen next?
Are you talking about him or yourself, Lil?
I love how apolitical these issues were. This is just good old, clean, wholesome, no agenda comics. That's what I like. They should just have that. Should be
Is
just
there such a thing?
No.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, no, there's not. Everyone's got an agenda. Usually the one you disagree with.
Nailed
So
it.
Because you don't notice the agenda until you disagree with it.
Ooh. All right, so yes, today we are covering 5 issues, Captain America's 342 through 346 from June through October 1988.
I think you meant Shocktober, but it's fine.
There's no shocker in these, though.
I know.
Well, not exactly.
Oh, yeah, not the one you're thinking of. All right.
Yeah, the cool shocker.
That's right. All right.
I said it.
Oh. All right, so I have synopses again. So we'll get...
Philip?
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, I can hear you.
That's all you, sweetheart.
Lilith, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. All right. I have synopses. We'll do this. Everyone knows how this goes. So we'll start with Captain America 342. At D-Man's Santa Monica estate, the wrestler turned hero is getting tossed for a loop by Vagabond while teaching her some fighting moves. A jealous nomad breaks up the session, throwing punches at the hapless D-Man until his girl shoves him into the pool. A strange spacecraft arrives overhead, and the captain, that former Captain America Steve Rogers, leaps through the air and bounces off the diving board to reach the hovering craft. Inside, he is met by emissaries from Wakanda who patch him through to their liege, the Black Panther, via video. T'Challa presents Cap with a new shield made of vibranium and a nice fresh paint job. See, Tony Stark, it can be done. And wishes him well in his new identity. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Serpent Society, Diamondback is protecting the poison leader Sidewinder from an attack by the traitorous Fer-de-Lance. Defeating her foe, she is surprised by another of the invaders, Coach Whip, and manages to use Sidewinder's teleportation cloak to transport them both outside the mansion. Her message to Cap, that we saw last issue, gets through, and the hero asks the Wakandans to fly him and his team to the site of the trouble. There they rendezvous with Diamondback, and after the new black costume is explained, she fills him in on the situation. He really doesn't explain it, but Viper and her serpentine minions have invaded their citadel and are giving the society members the choice of join or die. Inside the mansion, Viper bites the hostile Black Mamba and Bushmaster with her venom-filled fangs, giving them an hour to change their minds before they die. The Lady Mastermind then orders the super-fast Black Racer to search area hospitals for the missing Sidewinder, while her other gang members load canisters in a truck for removal to the dispersal point. At that point, the heroes arrive and enter the building as Falcon, Nomad, and D-Man take on Anaconda and a couple of other baddies. The Captain and Diamondback confront Viper. Diamond rescues Asp, and Cap has to choose between catching the villainous and saving the poisoned serpents. Being a hero, he chooses the latter. The mutant Snake Man Slither is captured by D-Man and Nomad, while elsewhere Black Racer finds the ambulance carrying Sidewinder to a hospital. A lucky Vagabond manages to clobber the super-fast baddie and save the day. Back at the Citadel, Cap ponders what Viper's sinister plot may have been.
Hey, you know what's fun? Want a fun fact?
Sure.
This is one of my very first Captain America comics.
Ooh, nice.
I could see why. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I did not even remember the opening with a buffalo shot, but I may not have been there in my sexual awakening yet, although it was fast behind. I will say that.
And I'm just saying, you asked for it, D-Man. I'm just like, whoa!
Look, even in midair, he's checking it out. Even in midair, he's checking it out.
Well, maybe I don't even think he is. I think he's. Remember, here's what I'm going to say. I kind of get the feeling that later revelation wasn't really as much of a revelation as we thought it was. Because as I'm rereading this, he is like super awkward in the whole thing. He's like, dude, I just want to be your buddy, man. I don't want your lady. What?
We were just supposed to think he was awkward, but meanwhile he was gay.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like, he's both actually.
Well, yeah, it's true.
And gay.
True.
That's the thing. He was very awkward, which we knew. Mm-hmm. But it's like everyone and of course everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna have to get me some of that D-man, that big old D-man. It's like, yeah, but the D's not for you, hon.
Oh!
He's got the D, but not for you. So, but yeah, and man, Jack Monroe is such a, you really see them channeling that 1950s Cap in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like there's a point in it where you almost think he thinks he's talking to Burnside. Like when he's drunk.
Yeah.
Later issues, spoilers. I get the feeling like in his mind that he thinks that's Burnside he's talking to. He doesn't realize that's the Cap. He thinks it's the other guy.
Maybe.
Which I do find an interesting turn of events. But he is a total nerf herder this whole issue.
Well, and again, she keeps saying, you keep promising to show me some fighting moves, and you never do. So, D-Man volunteered.
Well, yeah, and it is, which again is a thing that D-Man is doing purely innocently.
Yeah,
because not for nothing, he liked the idea of, hey, there's a job where I get to grab big burly men every day and hug them in public.
Working Lilith Hellfire get that job.
I don't know if Lilith likes the burly ones. I don't know, but and that's
no comment.
Yeah, that's as HR. I have to say that's not an appropriate comment, Philip. We're gonna have to send you to training about that.
You know what our HR policy is?
Nobody tell Rob.
Anyway, but but because I do remember all of these items in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, was it this issue or was it the next issue that was actually my first? You know what? It actually might have been the next issue because I think the one where he jumps out of the plane, where he jumps
that's
out of
next.
The plane,
yeah, that's next issue.
Okay,
yeah.
that was my first one with the Resistance, who I immediately recognized. And actually, someone gets a note prize in the letters page in the next couple issues because they did notice them. Hey, that looks like this. I'm looking because I think I wrote in it sometime, but I don't know if I was published. So.
But yeah, I mean,
check those letter pages, guys. You may see Charlie Esser, Canton, Michigan, saying, "I think that Steve Rogers is cool."
I mean, I know it seems kind of ridiculous, but I do like this panel of him, like jumping onto the roof, then off the diving board up to the craft.
Parkour.
I'm gonna tell you something. There's a cool in the annuals West Coast and East Coast Avengers. Where he does that move in reverse, where he jumps from the plane down to the diving board and then does the backflip to Janet Van Dyne, and everyone's like, that Cappy, hello, Captain America. Yeah,
but yeah, like we see, he gets a shield from the Black Panther.
Yeah, and who's totally cool about it too.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, even like, oh man, hey, you're the symbol of you're an American ambassador. It's just one head of state to the ambassador. Well, technically, I'm not the ambassador anymore. Oh man, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like, no, it doesn't. It's we cool.
T'Challa's just like, I don't care. You're just a friend, Here, just...
Yeah, well, nobody. He does try to couch it in those official terms, for tax purposes. He's like, hey, King T'Challa, we see here that you use 8 kilograms of
vibranium.
Of vibranium that is unaccounted for. It's like, it was a gift to an ambassador. Really? Was he actually serving as an ambassador of the United States at the time?
It was a work expense.
To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, he was.
To the best of my knowledge, he was. Yes. They have a parliament. They actually have checks and balances on the king of Wakanda. T'Challa put it in there. Now he's got to pay the piper.
And the king's just like,
all y'all can just shut the hell up.
His dad was like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. You hold that power.
He's not an American president. Calm down.
oh, true.
Oh, God. Yes, but...
I love in the notes, though. In the still controversial issue 332, pick it up, guys. It's controversial. Get it?
It is. It was very controversial. That, Oh man, this is such a. It's weird when you read it's weird when you binge these.
Yeah,
it's funny because it reminds me of like when I first went back and did a rewatch of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I realized how much faster the story went when you just watched them all together.
Oh yeah.
Then you realize, oh man, because everyone's like, oh, they don't have any superpowered people. Oh, there's not any of this. Oh, what's with this? Why don't they have this? And then you like watch it like as a binge. You go, oh, they like start doing this stuff like the first issue, And, like, it really surprised me because, spoilers, we do get to a certain person later introduced. And, it was like, oh, wow, yeah, they got to that real quick. And, man, poor old Johnny Walker. So...
But yeah, I mean, it's just, Diamondback feels she can call Captain America for help, which, I mean, yeah, Cap's always a good guy, too. But, I mean, the Serpents are just crooks. The Viper's a nihilist. She's just always looking for ways to kill people.
Oh, by the way, there is a fun letter about three ones later where someone is basically making the point that, or actually it's about anarchy because she says this whole thing about anarchy and anarchism. Mm-hmm. And they basically make this point that, that's not what anarchy means, and da-da-da-da. And then, to Marvel's credit, the writer comes back and says, well, she is a nihilist, not an anarchist, and anarchy is, she wants to destroy everything, and anarchy is just the easiest means to destroy. So, it's nice the way they thread the needle on that. At least I felt so.
So what did you think, Lilith Hellfire?
Like the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Like the action. I don't know about the story.
I mean, it's basically Cap gets a new shield, they fly to the Serpent headquarters and fight.
It's like, I mean, come on. Yeah, Cap gets a new shield. That might as well be the title of this issue.
I mean, at least they gave us action. If this was a modern comic, that would have been the whole thing of, it would have been 20. It would have been 20.
Journey for our new shield.
No.
For like 6 issues.
It would have been 22.
He have to go to freaking Wakanda, dig up the vibranium himself.
This would have been, this would have been 22 pages of Black Panther handing him that shield.
Yeah. Wasn't it nice when superheroes used to get along?
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
And got stuff
but
done.
They're actually like friends. But but again, who ruins it? Tony Stark.
Of course.
Because he's only being Cap's friend, giving him the shield because he doesn't want Cap to come after him later.
Yep, doesn't want to interfere at the vault. Yep.
And it's like, dude, you know I can't be that way. You can't play me like that.
Y'all know how I feel. I love him, but Captain a bad life decision. Every day.
But since we got interrupted last time, like in his feedback, Ray was talking about that Thor 390 where, the Captain, meets back up with Thor and Thor hears all this talk about, Tony Stark and Cap coming to blows. And he's like, boy, I wonder who's in the right. And then that's the first time in comics when Steve Rogers picks up that hammer and Thor's like, oh, I guess Steve Rogers is in the right.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Tony could never.
No. You saw that movie, not even with jet-assisted gauntlets. No.
You know why? Because he wants it too bad.
Yeah, he said he wanted to bring back Prima Nocta.
That was not a good joke.
Well, it's Tony Stark.
Still not good.
Again, Captain of Bad Life Decisions.
Have him. I worry. Here's what I'll say.
He's an HR nightmare.
As an HR guy, I will call out my CEO. In fact, I did that just last week, or actually just like 2 days ago. It was a company function. He made some comments that I had to correct. It wasn't really like an HR comment, but it was a historical inaccuracy.
Oh,
that he subscribed to that I had to dissuade him from. And not a lot of HR guys will do that. You find an HR guy that will call you out, that's an HR guy you want in your house. That's all I'm telling you. To all your business leaders looking for yes men, that's the guy who has to be there to say no. and I will be fired. I will probably be fired on Monday, but that's okay. I stuck by my principles like D-Man would.
How about no?
I just find all the female costumes interesting. That's all. And then we can move on.
Well, I mean, that Vagabond basically wearing a one-piece bathing suit. Diamondback was in workout clothes. She was basically wearing a one-piece bathing suit with, you know.
It's an interesting leotard, and that was air quotes.
I will say this. It was the 80s, and that was the style at the time.
Let's get physical.
I'll have to take your word for it, sir.
They're going all She-Hulk.
Yeah, and like I said, whether or not women liked that was the style at the time, I don't know. I wasn't a woman in the 80s, but I know that style did exist. The workout chic was a thing for a while, and so, yeah. I
mean, Diamondback got interrupted in the middle of a workout. Vagabond, I don't know. Well, though, they were by the pool, so.
Yeah, well, you know, but... Well, that's Vagabond's costume.
Yeah, I know.
Any excuse is better than none for over-sexualization of a female character in a comic book, and we're moving on.
Again, it was 80. You know. It was 88.
We can't all be Flex Mentallo.
Oh,
that's objectification everyone can enjoy.
Oh, my. All right, moving on to Cap 343. Perhaps Charlie Esser's first Captain America.
No, it's the next one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, yes, that is my first one. This is the Resistance.
Yes. So Yes. 343. The new Captain America, John Walker, and Battlestar have been ordered to Cleveland, Ohio to apprehend a mutant rebel against the Registration Act. The frightened young man fires quills from his body at the two heroes and seeks to hide in an alley. Fearing death, he fires another salvo at his pursuers, wounding Battlestar. Cap loses his temper and rips down the fire escape the fugitive was climbing and covers him with a heavy metal door. The boy, still a teenager, protests that he isn't a mutant but gained his power in an accident. Cap says he is only following orders and handcuffs the kid, while Battlestar wonders if they're becoming flunkies of a government looking for new minorities to oppress.
Of course you are. That's the American way. Have we forgotten?
Oh my! All right.
Remember, he just got his GED, so.
And yeah, well, he's coming to the realization.
He's coming around. It's fine.
And back at Serpent Society headquarters, the Captain and Diamondback are pursuing the fleeing Viper. She makes it to a Serpent saucer and takes off. Cap gives a mighty leap and catches the vehicle's landing gear. Sensors warn Viper that something is obstructing the wheel. On the vid screen, she sees a hero whom she recognizes as Captain America in disguise, while no one else was been able to, and speeds up to dislodge him. Cap manages to stay on, but the pursuing Falcon is left so far behind that he doesn't see his partner hanging off the ship. Falcon is picked up by the rest of the team in a second Serpent saucer flown by Diamondback. While in pursuit, that great big thinker Nomad tortures the captive Slither for info on the villain scheme over D-Man's objections. Elsewhere, the copter carrying Captain America and Battlestar is assaulted by several armored villains on a floating rock. They announce themselves as the Resistance and demand the captive mutant be turned over to them. When the heroes resist, the villains attack the copter and disable it, carrying the captive boy with them. Meanwhile, Viper contacts her minions to carry out her plan. In Washington, D.C., Copperhead leads Boomslang and a reluctant Cobra in dumping a chemical in the city's water supply. Meanwhile, Nomad is leading the pursuit of Viper's craft and asks about weapons. Diamondback suggests heat-seeking missiles and a pair are fired. The fleeing ship is destroyed and Viper manages to teleport down safely. The captain, however, must trust in his new shield, and the vibranium absorbs the impact when he hits the ground. He engages in a fight with his foe, and she bites him with her poisoned fangs, but they break on his chainmail. He then presses a certain nerve to render her unconscious. When the team arrives, they are shocked to discover that Cap was on the ship they shot down. He's not bothered, though. Falcon is dispatched to warn the authorities that Washington's water supply has been poisoned, which they learned from Slither. Elsewhere, Captain America and Battlestar stand amid the wreckage of their copter with the dead pilot. Cap vows revenge against the Resistance. Epilogue. At the White House, President Ronald Reagan wakes up late at night and has a drink of water.
That's kind of a continuity error that I just caught that I don't think anyone else has ever caught. I think that glass of water was poured before they poured the stuff into the drinking water supply.
Oh, maybe.
So I think that, maybe, or maybe we don't know the exact timetable, so maybe that's not that. But so couple of quick items. So this is the one that in a couple issues later you will see a person call out the fact that Cap's costume, or that technically that John Walker's costume gets torn up during the crash.
Yes.
And it's interesting because it makes even this point that, the captain's costume survives getting bitten by the...
He's a cheap knockoff. Get it, guys?
Well, what the official no prize revelation is that you are correct, sir. They did not have time, because they do mention that they had to alter the costume.
Government budget.
So the costume he was wearing wasn't a fully produced costume yet. And so you are correct. That is why it did that, and so you get a no prize, sir. So watch for that in the letters columns coming up. Although it's interesting that, when D-Man had his costumer make this, he told the costumer to make sure you get that high-quality synthetic chainmail. And by the way, here are Cap's exact measurements.
Whoa!
Did you get these from Cap? I got them.
How do you know his inseam?
Don't you fanboy shame D-Man. Don't you do it.
I'm just saying. I don't think it was. I kind of get the feeling that maybe when
and this is D-Man's biggest fan too, telling you this.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that when Kibble Smith reached, I get the feeling that maybe Kibble Smith reached out to Grunwald and said, "Yeah, I'm thinking I want D-Man to be gay," and Grunwald was, "Well, yeah, of course he's gay. I thought I wrote him explicitly as gay the whole time."
You can't reach out to Mr. Grunwald. He passed away in, what was it, 97?
Well, but when he did,
yeah,
that's too bad,
guys.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'd like to think comic book creators are immortal, like Stan Lee.
Hey! As host of Quantum Zone, the Quasar podcast, I would love to be bothering Grunwald for an interview, but yes, it is not to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stop dying, great creative people.
Exactly.
We all want to go somewhere else, but we got to stay here. Especially if you're
I don't want to.
So I know.
The smart people are dying. The smart people are dying, and other people who deserve it aren't.
That's how it goes.
Moving on.
Come on, cheeseburgers. Come on, cheeseburgers. Anyway.
Nice while. As opposed to meanwhile. No, I do actually, when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, it really does. It's way more obvious than when they did that with Alan Scott. That's all I'm saying. It's like,
Well, that's because Alan Scott was nobody's favorite anything, so.
And again, I wonder if that was Grunwald's...
I love Alan Scott.
You're not a real DC fan. Get out of here, Charlie.
Oh!
Well, I'm not a DC fan, so that must be why I like Alan Scott.
Well, no.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you meant just that what they did, making him gay. I thought that's what you're talking about. What, you're saying you don't like Alan Scott at all, Lilith?
No, I said he was nobody's favorite, so it wasn't going to be like an uproar other than, they're making another character gay.
Okay.
Oh, the humanity.
I just wonder if, maybe that was Grunwald's plan all along to make D-Man gay, but it's 1988. We're not going to come out and say it.
Yeah,
because he is a pretty political guy here.
Yeah.
Although I got to give him credit that in a couple issues when we do meet the president, even then, Cap is being respectful, respecting the office.
Oh yeah, I think at least at this point, Steve's like, even if he didn't vote for, a certain president, he's like, I'm going to respect the office until, the actual man doesn't respect the office, as we saw with Nixon.
And that's what he says. A lot of people have held that office who did not deserve to hold the office. But I don't know if this guy's one of them yet,
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not like Nixon, who was part of the secret empire.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing about it, because I think you can make a very strong argument that presidents that were unpopular weren't necessarily bad presidents in that idea of, being a patriot and whatever else you want to put on being a president. But I think that, I think there were people who were bad presidents who were honest patriots who respected law and order and all this kind of stuff, even if they did not align with you politically on what you thought rights and freedom should be. I think that they had respect for the institutions and the power of the people, and then also sometimes less so.
The good old days.
A little bit. And that's with that. But I love the fighting of the resistance. I love that, I recognize them as Mutant Force, and I realize that's the key. That's why you're supposed to recognize them as Mutant Force in the last issue, because Slither was also a member of Mutant Force.
Oh yeah.
These guys were also a second version of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which is another thing that's meant to be a clue in the next issue, or the next two issues, when they are having the mock trial of Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he was a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants doesn't mean he's an evil mutant. But, So, yeah. So there's
Kangaroo Court.
Well, it was a pretend court. They made Blob the judge, so... Yeah.
But, yeah,
that tells you literally everything you want to know about this court,
Yeah, but the resistance thing is so Grunwald. Like, he always, he knows so much about Marvel history and stuff. He loved, bringing back old characters like that and stuff. The thing that bothers me is just, spoilers. Black Panther gives Cap this shield and stuff, and D-Man gave him this new costume. But meanwhile, when it comes back to being Captain America and the government's like, oh yeah, hey, are you using that new costume and shield for anything? He's like, no, you can have it. And they give it to John Walker.
I don't think it's necessarily rude. I think it's an acknowledgement that, what, we've sorted it. Cap is always willing to bury the hatchet.
I guess. Yeah.
He's not going to say, "Oh no, I refuse to let you do it." He's going to say, because and again, which we also see with John Walker in this, or later possibly, where he says, I kind of get where, it's like, I'm not afraid of facing Cap. I think I could have beat him in that parking lot that one time. But the fact of the matter is, I kind of now respect him more. Mm-hmm. And I kind of get the feeling I know more where he's coming from with all this. So on that level, he's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe. And, I think that's a positive thing. Everybody's dealing with a lot of stuff in this. But the resistance was cool. And they do give the reveal in 2 issues later, because of course the next issue is the big lynching episode.
Oh, in 345. Yeah.
Yeah, is that the next one?
No, 344. The whole Ronald Reagan thing. Come on.
Oh, that's right, Ronnie. I forget which one we're on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to go to Ronnie? Or do we have other things to say about this issue?
Unless Lilith, do you have anything to say on 343?
No, it was kind of stale.
Because we were saving up for the giant-sized issue 344.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
For some reason, no, that one was the big one. All right. So, yeah. Captain
Back
America.
in the day when you didn't need a reason for a comic to be giant size, you could do it just cause.
It didn't have to be divisible by 5.
It's a giant-sized man thing.
Whoa!
You want your man thing giant-sized.
Number 4. All right, so Captain America 344. Late at night in the White House, President Ronald Reagan awakens with a sudden painful sensation. As he takes another drink of water, we discover he is transforming into a human reptile. All over Washington, the streets are in chaos as many citizens are
transforming into
more than oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
I get it.
This is where the entire lizard people conspiracy comes from, by the way. I personally believe that because I never heard anything about lizard people until this issue. So that's my headcanon.
But yes, all over the streets our citizens are morphing the reptiles, crashing cars and attacking the innocent. Viper's 3 minions, Copperhead, Cobra, and Boomslang fight their way through the deadly mob, with Cobra finally learning what was in the canisters they emptied into the city's water supply last issue. They make it back to their craft to find the Captain and Diamondback waiting for them. As the two sides meet, Cobra tries to tell Diamond that he is really working undercover for Sidewinder to infiltrate Viper's gang. He escapes through a torpedo tube, because he is a contortionist, and heads for the other serpent saucer parked nearby. There he encounters Nomad and D-Man with the captive Viper and Slither. Cobra fires a mini acid bomb at the villainous, but it is deflected by Nomad, but Viper is able to use it to burn through her cuffs. Nomad berates D-Man for allowing Cobra to get by him and heads off in pursuit. Viper frees herself and bites D-Man on the neck. At the... Whoa. Barking up the wrong tree, lady. At the offices of the Commission of Superhuman Activities, the director learns that the water supply has been poisoned. He tries to alert the White House, but can't get through. Choosing to keep the Avengers out of this, he summons the new Captain America and Battlestar, who are stranded in Pennsylvania. Tell me, brother. After their confrontation with the Resistance. The heroes are frustrated that they're being pulled off their assignment at the whim of the Commission. With the captured Boomslang and Copperhead, the Captain and Diamondback discover the wounded D-Man. Diamond administers the antitoxin, and Cap tells her to stay behind while he goes after Viper. She broods about how she loves Cap, but fears he will never trust her because of her criminal past. Meanwhile, the anarchist, this says anarchist Viper, but she's a nihilist, come on, is on a shooting...
They address it.
They do it.
I know.
We address it in the letters pages later, as I said.
Is on a shooting rampage through the city, heading for the White House. Nomad, pursuing, is mobbed by reptile people and overwhelmed as the Cobra broods over his future, having betrayed both Sidewinder, because he's not really undercover, and Viper. He slithers off. Viper, meanwhile, shoots her way into the executive mansion, pausing briefly to consider murdering the transformed Nancy Reagan. Locating the president, Viper gives him more water. Back at the Serpent Saucer, the concerned Diamondback leaves the prisoners in charge of the barely conscious D-Man, and suiting up, heads out and runs into Captain America, but it isn't the one she knows. The new Cap orders her to surrender and gives chase. Meanwhile, Battlestar has entered the saucer, and the delirious D-Man, thinking the new hero is a villain and wanting to redeem himself for his cowardice with the whole Titania thing, attacks him. The two fight, with the super slugging match moving out into the park. Battlestar manages to knock out his foe as the new Cap returns with the captive Diamond. The Captain heads through the chaotic streets toward Washington, dodging attacks by Snake Men, and arrives at the White House. Vaulting the fence, Cap enters the executive mansion and cautiously surveys the bodies of dead Secret Service men, while musing on the symbolism of the President and the White House, and wondering if Reagan approved his firing or was even told about it. And reminiscing about his first meeting with FDR, he reaches the Oval Office. Entering, he finds Reagan has completely transformed into a snake man, and the president attacks him. Steve struggles against his foe while trying to appeal to his reason and his patriotism. He notices that, contrary to the habits of reptiles, Reagan is sweating, meaning he is trying to throw off the effects of the serum. Viper appears and denounces the Captain, America, and Western civilization, gloating over its imminent destruction. Who's this, little Hellfire? The Secret Service appears and arrives, and she leaps through a window. As the president convulses and changes back to normal, Cap heads out in pursuit of the villainess. On the lawn, he finds Cobra with the unconscious Viper in his arms. The serpent villain wants to make a deal. Cap refuses, so Cobra turns Viper over to him anyway and slithers off into the shrubbery. The commission meets, and the director makes the decision to apprehend the Captain, whom he recognizes as Steve Rogers, the rogue former Captain America. Epilogue. President Ronald Reagan addresses the nation, dismissing the Washington, D.C. incident as the result of a hallucinogen being introduced into the water. He assures the public that the perpetrator is in custody and that he and the First Lady were never in danger. His teeth look strangely sharp, however.
Subtle. Apolitical comics for you. I mean, this was a fun issue. This was a great issue. This was. I remember reading this issue as a young man.
As a wee lad.
This was what, 1988? 8? Okay. Oh wow. Oh, see, this was the year I graduated junior high. So I was already kind of a deep Marvel fan at this point. I'd been reading Marvel Age, all that kind of stuff. So this was fun for me. This is because that year on summer vacation, my dad took me to New York, and I went to the Marvel offices.
Ah.
And that is forever my greatest remembrance of, like, that was the thing.
Oh, wait, you
me and New York.
You did visit the Marvel offices?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I visited the Marvel offices because I said I'd like to be a writer, and they gave me, because that was when they gave me the poorly Xerox page that says here's how you submit to Marvel Comics.
Oh,
Go
no.
home, write yourself and I did, on a typewriter no less.
Wow.
I was gonna say, is this the origin story? Did you meet Shooter?
No. It was actually, man, who was that? I don't know. It was one of the editors, though. It wasn't Jim Shooter. No. I'd remember him. I actually think it might have been. I actually have not given it any thought until this moment. I think it might have been Breveroot.
Oh.
Yeah, he had a beard. I know that. So there's a lot of Marvel guys who had beards, but yeah, it was one of the editors came down, and honestly, I gotta think they thought it was really cool. There's a little kid here, and he wants to write comic books. Go out there, just someone go over there and say hi to him, give him a thrill. And he's like, yes, I want to write comic books, and I was very excited about it, so it was lovely.
All right, Lilith, you wanted me to share that picture?
Yeah. My favorite screenshot, my favorite panel, obviously, from this issue.
Oh, my.
Well, what is this thing saucer made out of? Tinfoil?
Hey, man, they're strength augmented.
To go with the snake people, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it just seems like this is, like, you're just...
Also, can we say Cobra? It seems like this was a G.I. Joe crossover. That's my headcanon. You can't change my mind.
Cobra is important in this. Cobra is my favorite character in all of this because I'm just like, how are we supposed to make money off of this?
Oh, so he's like
he's a Ferengi.
I was going to say,
Ferengi, it's fine.
Yeah, he's like, how does this make money? I don't understand how we make money on this. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, that's what I said. The most of the Serpents were just they were crooks. They weren't looking to hurt anybody. They just wanted to steal stuff and make money.
Exactly. It's like, that was the whole gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we're a thing. And I love that they keep referring to it as like a criminal trade union.
Oh, yeah, I think that's how Sidewinder approached them all. He's like, hey, for less risk, because we'll be a team and, we make money, we'll start having benefits and stuff, And
Sidewinder always breaks out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. He says, yeah, I'm going to put an RFID chip in your head and we'll be able to trace you with that everywhere you go. But, like you're going to go somewhere that's going to shock us.
Yeah. And instead of having to fight Captain America or somebody on your own, you'll have a team behind you.
Exactly. Honestly, it's brilliant, Don't know why more people don't do it. But like I said, Sidewinder, he's a business genius,
Mm-hmm.
As Black Mamba says. Oh, by the way, I love that line a couple issues ago where Black Mamba, if I can just hone in on her and find that one thing she loves, then I can manipulate her. But, oh my gosh, she loves nothing. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, thank you for liking this video, Lil Hellfire.
Anything I can do to get our engagements up, guys. Come on.
Yes. Engage.
The I word.
Did you know we had a Star Trek All Access podcast on Patreon?
Yes, we do, Lilith. We recently did, although some people weren't there, we did a really great dissection of the amazing work of one Sir Patrick Stewart getting cod shoved in him.
Just a nice little stab inside. It's fine.
I don't know what's going on.
If you would like to discuss what it's like to have a cod of an entire planet shoved right in you, Patrick Stewart can talk about that.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Go to Patreon because we have the swears in that one.
That's right.
So you gotta pay. You want to hear the swears. You gotta pay for that.
The cursies. Lilith, what did you think of this oversized issue?
I didn't really see a reason for it to be oversized, but I love the artwork in this one. I did, actually. The story's still mad for me, but like I do like Cobra, so that was cool.
I mean, I guess it maybe oversized just because you had everybody in it. You know, you had the captain and his whole team. Then you brought in, you know, John Walker and Lamar.
We didn't need them, is my point. It's like, why are we splitting the story between? You know, nobody cares. Nobody cares. We only care about Steve. Like, let's stop being deluded. And even so, on the letters page, this guy's like, yeah, this is already getting stale. The one that starts, my dear fellow Americans or whatever. It's like, yeah, this is already getting stale. I'm bored now. I'm like, wow. Fanboys, comic book fanboys have been butt wipes the whole time.
I mean, I don't think people were used to storylines this long back in '88. I mean, 332 to 350 is like 18 issues. I mean, that's a year and a half.
I know. But what's weird, and again, it's like I say, it's the kind of thing where you don't notice it if you read it as a binge.
Oh yeah, no.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, no, I'm like sitting there like, oh yeah, this was like this long period, and you know, it was this ongoing conflict. And I get the feeling like, oh, we're gonna wrap this up in a minute, you know. So
the comic books in the 80s, man, especially the late 80s, like they were just trying stuff, trying to see what sticks, and you can kind of see what actually did stick and why, and what didn't stick and why. So it's a nice little retrospective. I can appreciate it for what it is.
Well, this is when comics got big, and then completely collapsed down on themselves.
I was gonna say this is when the bubble's starting to form, Lilith.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know.
This is the start of the bubble. Do the double bubble.
But again, with the art, I love the art in this issue.
Yeah, I definitely love I love Captain America's signature kind of like movement, how they do it.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Although I'm going to say this, there is a censor, I believe, between the Marvel Unlimited version and what you have in the comics.
Of what?
Of every time people get hit, stuff spurts out of their mouth.
Oh.
And you see this in this issue. In the Marvel Unlimited, the stuff is white. I remember in the actual book, it is red. And that was a whole thing. And someone writes in that says, this isn't a Conan book. You don't have to have blood every time someone gets punched. Although, honestly, every time you punch...
Yeah, mine is from a trade from 2013, and it's white. So, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I know the Marvel Unlimited is... Phil's got the originals there, so...
I mean, we're here where D-Man's getting hit. It kind of looks white, or, I mean, some of it's so small you just see, like, black, like, whatever, but... Yeah, I don't see, any red blood, so I don't know if they actually did censor that.
I don't know, maybe it's another one. Maybe I know that's another letter page issue years... at some point in this run, where someone feels that every time that someone gets hit, there's some kind of effluviant coming out of their mouth.
Well, wasn't that like
occasionally a tooth too?
Yeah, because I was going to say back around this time, didn't they, like, if someone was bleeding, instead of making it red, didn't they make it like black or something?
Yeah, but you know, still it's blood.
Yeah.
So, a lot of effluviants. That's all I'm saying.
Ew. All right, we jump into the next issue.
Let's do it.
Another lynching, everyone.
Yeah, well, not for nothing. And here's what I gotta say. Oh, wait. Okay, do your read.
Yes, all right. Cap 345. In the aftermath of the Vipers' assault on Washington, which turned even the president temporarily into a monster, the head of the Commission on Superhuman Activities believes he has identified the red, white, and black-clad adventurer at the scene as Steve Rogers, the former Captain America. So they assigned the new Cap, John Walker, the task of bringing him in. The director believes that Rogers is still in the Washington area, planning to rescue his teammates who are currently in custody, which are Nomad, D-Man, and Diamondback. As Walker talks this over with his partner Battlestar, he expresses misgivings about having to face a living legend, while Battlestar would prefer to track down the mutant rebel group, the Resistance, who had defeated them earlier. Meanwhile, at the Lincoln Memorial, Steve Cap thanks Falcon for his aid, as the latter must now hurry back to Harlem to continue his own mission. Steve sets out to find where his other companions are being held. In Custer's Grove, Georgia, remember that? Caleb and Emily Walker, John's parents, have been hounded by the media since left and right winger disclosed on television that their son was the new Captain America. The weary walkers call the sheriff to clear the reporters off their property, but then they are taken hostage by the right-wing terrorists, the Watchdogs, who have their own vendetta against Captain America. In the DC jail, Sidewinder teleports in, bringing Vagabond to visit the real Cap's teammates. The Serpent Leader carries Diamond back to freedom, but when he returns, D-Man refuses to escape since Cap would face the consequences of his actions. Vagabond agrees with him, so it is only the sneering Nomad who is brought out of the prison by Sidewinder. Sometime later, Steve is contacted by Jack, who meets him in a bar, drunkenly lamenting his romantic life and demanding that Cap go rescue them. Instead, Steve tells him he is planning to surrender to the Commission and resolve their problems through legal channels. The disgusted Nomad walks out. The following day, in his captain uniform, Steve gives himself up to the authorities, and the director tells him he will be brought up on a host of charges, including sedition. Earlier, when John Walker learned his parents had been kidnapped, he deserted from a government mission in order to rescue them. Returning to his parents' home in Georgia, he receives a message from the Watchdogs to meet him at a roadhouse. He walks into the obvious trap and allows himself to be taken prisoner. He plays along, and they arrive in an old barn where John is strung up by a noose dangling from the ceiling beam. Still denying his
how's it feel, buddy?
Still denying his identity, John asks to see that the walkers are unharmed. They give away his identity by their surprised outburst. As the Watchdogs put on a semblance of a formal proceeding, Walker leaps off the high crate, snaps the bonds on his wrists, and rips the rope loose from the beam. He battles his enemies, and they respond by opening fire. In the melee, the Walkers are gunned down, giving him the Batman origin. At the sight of his parents' deaths, Walker goes berserk, savagely beating and killing his foes, even spearing a man with a pitchfork. When all is quiet, he surveys the carnage and sinks to his knees and cradles his parents' lifeless forms in his arms. His sanity gone, as he assures them that everything will be all right now.
Yeah. So there is a Matt Pat episode that needs to be made about this. But whether or not, if you are swinging from a noose, you could exert enough inertial force to break the beam.
Is that just like his augmented arm muscle, though?
Well, yeah, but it's whether or not it would pull him up, or would it break the beam? And there is, because I'm thinking that this would have to do with the tensile strength of the rope they're using. If they're using a nylon rope, let's imagine, and you make that snap, and let's say it's not the best wood, I think the snap could do it. But, you know, it's an interesting question. Is that physically possible to pull on it when you are not grounded on something to snap it?
Maybe. You know? I mean, maybe it's a good rope because they do like their lynchings, and maybe it's an old barn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of ways you could work it out, and there is the constant idea that there's already the stresses of the gravity on the rope, and he's a big man.
Oh, yeah.
So when he leaps with his superhuman strength, he's already put an immense weight on it. Then he does this acrobatic move to change the center of gravity. It could theoretically work.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is a way that you can make the math on this work, but it is a really interesting thing because it's the kind of thing that the math shouldn't work, but it just might, and I find that fascinating.
Hit the nerd button, please.
Nerd!
And I say that lovingly, so just so we're clear.
I accept that as such, but yeah.
Oh man, but this roadhouse he walks into. Oh look, King
Kirby beer on tap.
I know. Meanwhile, they got that big Confederate flag behind the bar.
I remember getting mad that there was not.
Georgia, I'm just gonna throw that out there for y'all.
No. Well, I just want to say I was mad that they did not have Iron City beer on tap. I was livid. How do they not have Iron City beer? But I was like, okay, I'll allow it. I understand it is King Kirby beer. And they actually do Simon Kirby a lot throughout this book. There's another item where it's like Simon shoes and Kirby key fobs or something when they're in a city. I think that's actually the last issue when they show the cast, you actually see that there's a Simon Shoes company and a Kirby something else. Ironically, not Kirby Vacuums, because that's actually a trademark. They wouldn't have been able to do anything with Kirby Vacuums.
Oh, Charlie, I'm surprised you didn't call this out. When Steve Rogers is surrendering, the commissioner, half his face is shown in red.
Del Rusk, you mean?
Well, no, that's not actually the Red Skull, but it's the guy working for him on the commission. The head commissioner is just working for him.
Oh, the head commissioner?
Yeah, but they still show half his face in red, though.
Yeah, I don't know if the commissioner... Yeah, and that's interesting. It's much more important that they actually show Del Rusk. Is that this issue or next issue?
Well, no, yeah, they don't show him this issue. So
it's next issue that we actually show. So that's the dramatic foreshadowing.
And he's basically just a shadowed guy on a video screen.
Yes,
smoking that cigarette with his fancy holder.
Well, you don't smoke with a holder unless you're evil.
Uh-oh.
No, we said hold
out right now.
We said holder, not vape, Lilith.
Yeah.
I don't vape. That's disgusting.
No one.
Did you know vaping is the lead cause of cervical cancer in men?
See, that's both sexist and uncomfortable.
That's what she said.
Okay, Philip, we're going to have to really have this HR meeting with you. I think it's time that we really discuss some things about what is an appropriate comment and what is an inappropriate comment.
How about this inappropriate comment? We have a footnote fetishist.
What?
The footnote fetishist box. I was just like, well, now, thank you, Ralph.
At least he's honest.
This is like, okay, I don't know why we're using that word, but okay.
Is that like the anti-Liefeld?
We'll never have Liefeld on Wade's World. Never!
Oh, come on. Have a sense of humor.
Anyway, yeah, that was my favorite part about this book, if that tells you anything.
The foot fetish thing?
Yeah. Footnote fetishist. I was like, you know what? I like it. I might adapt that moniker. I might do it.
So what did everyone think about John Walker getting the Batman origin and then just going nuts?
It seemed like, a lot and true to the character, and honestly...
Trying to wrap this baby up pretty fast.
All it takes is one bad day.
I feel like the idea... I kind of feel... I'm going to be honest. I kind of feel like he got more violent because of drugs he was being given. I don't think you need it,
No.
I just don't feel that origin... Sort of like when they decided that they were giving drugs to the Punisher to make him, not be who the actual Punisher was designed to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It was kind of like, but was it really that though?
I mean,
it's sort of like when later they call out things. It's like, really though, is like really Bruce Banner can't kill because he was building a bomb. So you want to do this whole fancy, but
he can't directly kill.
Yes. Anyway. But no, I mean, I thought it felt real and honest. It was about a guy in way over his head.
Oh, yeah.
And they do give great treatment to the fact that he is in way over his head. Just when he starts having that, you compare when he's like fighting old man Captain America in the parking lot. And it's like, dude, no, I kind of get like, oh man, this is kind of a rough place to be,
mm-hmm.
Where he kind of like is kind of suddenly starting to go, oh man, I totally get where he's coming from.
Because
man,
he
was kind of a douche, wasn't I?
Because he has literally walked a mile in his shoes.
Well, less quality because he's not the same shoe size.
No, but
D-Man, new cap shoe size.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Well, and to be fair, not to be kind of weird, but Burnside was kind of the same way, So William Burnside,
yeah,
50s totally like, no, I have to look exactly like Cap, so let's reconstruct my face, and you know, and it's like, dude, you're wearing a mask. We don't need to reconstruct your face. No, I must be Captain America.
He doesn't even change his name to Steve Rogers. Back in the 50s.
Roger Stevens.
No, back in the 50s, he changed his name to Steve Rogers. You know.
Well, because they actually wrote it as if Steve Rogers didn't die at the end of the war when they actually were issuing the comic.
Well, yeah, back in the day, yeah, and then when Stanley did,
we actually several times call him Steve Rogers, so we kind of have to do that. What if it was just like a totally obsessive fan? It's like that would work. Comics were young then, but they were like, no, totally, I can totally see someone doing that.
Yeah, Avengers 4 comes out.
All these things, yes.
Avengers 4 comes out, and everyone's like, Stan, what are you doing? Come on, you're killing us here. The dude was around in the 50s.
But you know what? They fixed it. Fixed it in post. Don't question. Don't question Stan Lee.
Excelsior.
It's just stories you don't know yet.
That's right. All right, Lilith Hellfire.
That's how you get it. Not a mistake. It's a story you don't know yet.
Lilith, what did you think?
Finally, some righteous, unrighteous anger, whatever you want to call it. Finally, some anger. It makes them a little interesting. So, you know, we get a little, why'd you say that name here? But it's fine. I don't know.
Emily, why'd you say that name? But yeah, man. Massacre some racists. Yeah.
You know, even it out.
I mean, they asked for it. Cap wasn't looking for them anymore. Man, they showed up and kidnapped his parents. Then, you know, they get gunned down. So they asked for it.
I mean, specifically, Cap's told not to look for him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Cap is like, you know, not chasing after them, even though he may have wanted to. Well, now he wants to chase after the Resistance.
But I'm saying, if they hadn't kidnapped his parents, he wasn't coming. He wasn't looking for them. There was no even talk of him going to look for watchdogs. He had forgotten about him, pretty much.
He was following his orders like a good person until, you know, which, again, as we'll see later, was maybe all part of the plan. Because as we will see later, there is a plan.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Supposedly.
Yes, there is a plan.
Sounds like a plan, Jan.
All right.
Supposedly.
So should we, oh yes, a big plan.
Whoa, that's pretty damn big.
Should we get to the last issue?
Yes.
Sure.
So Charlie can talk the Resistance. More Resistance.
I love the Resistance. They're great.
All right. So last one, Captain America 346. After his violent, rage-fueled action against the Watchdogs last issue, Captain America John Walker is in a jail cell in Custer's Grove, Georgia. He receives a visit from Battlestar and his commissioned handler, Adrian Samish. Walker seems catatonic until Battlestar mentions his parents. Then, like a robot, he recites the events of the last issue, how his parents were kidnapped and murdered by the vigilante group, and how he took revenge. Samish bails him out of jail but threatens him with dire consequences. At Fort George B. Meade, the captive D-Man is also being interrogated by the authorities in connection with Steve Rogers, the rogue former Captain America. Near the prison for superhuman criminals in Colorado known as the Vault, members of the mutant terrorist group called the Resistance are flying in on a large levitating rock. They attack a prison transport and rescue one of the convicts, Hector Flum, once known as Mentallo. Yeah, I call myself Mentallo too. Later, director Douglas Rockwell of the Commission on Superhuman Affairs calls Walker on the carpet and denounces him for being a public embarrassment, suspends him from his job, and orders him out. Rockwell then receives a video message from his true employer, a handsome, aristocratic man.
Dr. Doom?
Who keeps to the shadows.
I said handsome.
Oh!
I'm sorry. He was always Arnold Fishkin. He thinks he was handsome, but everyone's like, Doom.
And this guy's better. And this guy's better at his job.
Yes.
Oh.
Fascist efficiency.
True. Handsome, aristocratic man who keeps the shadows, delivering his real orders. The mystery villain counsels him to keep John Walker as Captain America at all costs, and orders him to hire the Taskmaster.
to let...
Oh, no, free the Taskmaster, yes. Let him escape.
And again, which is like, oh, dude, red flag. Why do you need the Taskmaster to escape? Because he even says, it's hard to get good henchmen without it. It's like, oops, did I say the out loud part? I don't know why my boss wants a lot of henchmen out there.
Well, see, that's like the one loophole I found in this story, because even for the next episode, it's like, we never know why Rockwell's working for him. Is it money? Does he have blackmail? I don't think we ever learn why he was working for him.
Which is why I kind of think he's just an idiot and a dupe. And
yeah.
Okay, Mr. Rusk, that sounds good. We'll do that then.
And the guy's kind of in shadow on the view screen. So does this guy know what he looks like, or does he not know what he looks like? Because he's got a familiar face.
Well, I would assume, much like all High Council members, they're always in shadow. You're just used to it by now.
I guess, but again, too,
when Nick Fury gets his job, does he see any of their faces?
And again, too, this guy never calls him by name. So if he's in shadow, does he know who he's working for? Or is it just like, some guy's like, oh, I have blackmail or something on you, so you better do what I say?
No, I think he thinks he's Del Rusk. I think Del Rusk is a power player in DC. And it doesn't really need to go any further than that.
I guess.
Like, there's this guy. His name is Del Rusk. He's a power player in DC. I work with him. He's actually the power behind the throne.
All right, so stopping by to check on the disgraced John, Lamar Battlestar heads to a meeting of the Freedom Force, a team of former mutant criminals now co-opted into serving the government. Why couldn't
they give Blob a chair?
Did they have one big enough? Or that wouldn't break, maybe?
I'm sure they could not make the man sit on the floor. I'm sorry, if you're a fat man, it is hard to sit on floors. I mean,
he's more than a fat man, Charlie Esser. I mean, he's...
Yeah.
He's ample.
He's very ample.
He's very ample. But that's what I'm going to say. Even as a not nearly as ample fat man, I would not be comfortable just sitting on the floor and would find it kind of a bit of a derision to make me do that. I would say, no, you will give me a couch. You will reinforce that thing if you gotta. Put in a bunch of cinder blocks here for me to sit on like a freaking human being.
Hey, it's keeping him out of prison, okay?
Don't make me sit crisscross applesauce. I'm just saying. That's what we say it now as.
The untrustworthy team has been assigned to take down the Resistance, a mutant terrorist group who are rebelling against the Mutant Registration Act. Adrian Samish outlines a plan. The group will stage a mock trial for a notorious mutant, prompting the Resistance to stage a rescue, and the team will spring a trap. Samish announces that Captain America will not be working with them and selects Quicksilver, as impersonated by the shape-shifting Mystique, as the defendant. Afterward, Rockwell, in accordance with the orders received from his mysterious overlord, reinstates John to his role as Captain America and assigns him to back up the Freedom Force. At the remote camp of the Resistance, new member Marvin Flum is brought up to speed on the aims of the rebel faction. Redubbing himself Think Tank, Flum assumes command of the group. The next day in Carson City, Nevada, the Force begins their mock trial, and sure enough, the place is invaded by the Resistance. They bring down a huge rock on the courthouse, and only Destiny's precognition warns them in time. Captain America swings into action, taking on the meteorite platform full of enemies single-handedly, and holding up his end very nicely. Cap's superior strategy and ruthless tactics lead to a quick victory, ending with his savage beating of Think Tank. Yeah, because of that name. Valerie Cooper appears and criticizes Cap's handling of the issue. The purpose was to allow some of them to get away so they could be traced to their hideout. Instead, Cap clobbered them all. As they leave, Lamar wants to know why Cap reacted as he did. The answer, he says, my parents' funeral was today. I missed it so I could do this.
Yeah. He's cuckoo. Yeah. Among other things, first off, I just to criticize your synopsis, it's not his superior strategy.
It's his brutality.
Yeah, well, it's the fact that he's acting without thinking.
Yes, he's not thinking.
Which means the mind reader can't I know what you'll do before you do it. Which is that's it.
Yeah, well, is that a strategy? Fighting without thinking?
Apparently, you know. I mean, but I don't think it was a formed strategy. I think that's what happened. You know, what happened was, so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's neat. This is where we get the big reveal that they were once mutant force and yada yada yada. And I find it weird that Freedom Force, the other previous Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, because there's been 6 of them so far.
Yeah,
is cool with everything that they're doing, which also makes me wonder if Mystique totally knew. Yeah, no, Del Rusk is the Red Skull. We're in on it, so you know. Well,
at least half of them, I think Blob and Pyro, they're just in it, to keep out of jail. And I don't know if they're getting paid for it too or not, but I think.
Well, Blob actually wears nice clothes from time to
time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
he actually has pants that are cut to his size.
I don't think Blob cares about other
Miami Vice white suit, as was the trend in the time.
But yeah, I don't think Blob cares about other mutants as long as he's getting his, he don't care.
Yeah, well, of course not. Yeah, but I just it is what it is.
Lilith,
just a mess. I like it though.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we were gearing up John Walker to be the grim, gritty, violent Cap because the 90s are coming.
That nobody wanted.
Oh. I mean, we had AUS Agent for a couple of years. I mean, I think that's why after Steve gets the suit back, they put John Walker in that black suit.
To be fair, I think the idea was that, John Walker is what comic books are becoming, and this is their way of saying, you really don't want what you think you want.
Yeah.
I really do. I can get behind
everybody wanted the grim, gritty Captain America, or they wanted the Ultra Patriot Captain America. And Grunwald was like,
why not both?
You think you want that, but it's not what you want. Yeah, well, exactly,
Yeah. It's Captain America seen through the 90s lens, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, and again, to speak to the greatness of Mr. Grunwald,
Mm-hmm. All right.
I did not know he was dead. That's really disappointing to me.
Who?
Mark Grunwald.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that up until today.
I know. That depresses me every time I think about it.
Yeah. Why do you make me think that stuff, Phil?
You're the one who's saying, "Oh, maybe maybe Kibblesmith called Mark Grunwald."
That was my happy thought, and then you had to destroy.
Somebody get Grunwald on the Ouija board.
Lilith. All right. Anything else on these before I read Ray's feedback?
No, let's see what Ray had to say.
All right. Like I said, it's written, so I have to read it. So just imagine a Australian accent on this.
Although I gotta say this, it's so sad. We had 2 Australian characters in Boomslang and Pyro. Yeah, we don't get local Might, M-Y-T-E. It's just beautiful, and yet now we don't get Ray's dulcet tones. It's sad.
I know. All right, so Ray writes in, "Hey, comic capers. I'm sending written feedback this time as I've been keen to keep dropping in feedback, but this week has proven busy. I've also not managed to read all the issues, and I've fallen short by just one. However, I'd still like to give my thoughts on 342 through 345. Overall, I have continued to enjoy this run and to see where it takes us. The Serpent Society arc of 342 through 344 was fun, and the highlights being Diamondback's inner feelings for Cap, Nomad's spiral into abandoning Cap, and the Lizard transformation of the U.S. president. The civil war between the Serpent villains was intriguing, and Cobra's allegiance seems quite complex. Whatever happened to him down the line, and has he popped up recently? Also, is Boomslang Aussie? I hope so. Yes, he is Aussie. And I know a little bit after this, Sidewinder goes in this semi-retirement, and Cobra takes over as their leader and calls himself King Cobra.
Yes.
Get it?
It was a great day for the Serpent Society.
Yeah. All right, 345. I hope I'm getting these issues correct. I think you are. Was amazing, if only for the ending, which completely shocked me, i.e. the slaying of John Walker's parents. How utterly gut-wrenching and ultimately disturbing to see Walker talk to his 2 dead parents. Poor guy. And I have no sympathy for the Watchdogs at all. I think we all agree on that. I'll hopefully read 346 soon, but alas, won't be able to by the time you record. Here's hoping Diamondback makes progress with Cap. Cap sorts things out with the commission, and Nomad gets struck on the head with his... Wait. And Nomad gets struck on the head with his own stun disc. Dwee boy. All the best, and we'll be tuning in to hear your thoughts. Oh, listen to the sign off, Lil. Pay attention. Your fickle pickle, Ray.
He should have said fickle Captain Tank Top. Come on, Ray. Fickle pickle.
Well, he willingly sacrificed the title.
It's never good enough for Lilith, Ray.
Well, welcome to the club. Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Be gentle with me. G.I. Joe.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Anything else, people?
No. It was interesting looking what was going on with, Marvel's Captain America, Marvel's Superman. Very interesting choice they went with.
Nice. All right. So, if we have no other thoughts, yes, next issue we'll wrapping up this part. We're doing Captain America 347 through 350, another big one, 350. And pay attention, people, Avengers Annual 17, the final part of Evolutionary War. Charlie Esser is like, yes.
I love it. Evolutionary War was one of the best crossovers.
All right, so send your thoughts on all of that. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, just like Ray did. Or call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Comic Capers on Facebook, on Twitter. Follow all of our stuff. Subscribe to the Patreon, the YouTube channel. Find links all in one convenient place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio. Get yourself some headphones. Hunt a Killer.
Michelle Gray needs your help.
That's right. And
it's like an escape room delivered to your house every week.
Ooh.
Or every month. I don't know. There might be tiers.
Yeah, every month.
Every month. All right. And interested in podcasting, pick up Pod Life the book Volume 1. Because Volume 2 is in the works. Get it in digital or paperback on Amazon. And when you do that, or any of your Amazon shopping, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. It's free for you, but you help support this show, the network, and of course, talk about lizard men. Rob, Master Doom, Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. What did you say?
Lilith Hellfire.
You nerds want to hang out with me on the interwebs. You can find me on Twitter @Lilith Hellfire or on the gram @Lilith Hellfire 86 or Lilith Hellfire 69. Can you not talk and let me enjoy this?
Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in the old-fashioned email way, there are Moz and Pods ones to do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. after the kids have gone to bed. At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle. For what?
For quality.
Bing.
Thank you, Maz.
New Patreon segment, Charlie After Dark.
Hey, if you guys ever want to do stuff, like if Charlie wants to talk uncensored politics, or if Lilith Hellfire just wants a drunken virtual happy hour, give it to me. I'll put it on the Patreon. Okay. Give more bang for these people's bucks. Oh, yes. I want that. Thank you, everyone. So do your patriotic duty and come back next time. Send your feedback. Come back next time. Next week. As we kind of wrap this mess up. Two Captain Americas walk in. Well, 2 walk out. So. And who is the man in the shadows? Who is that evil figure in the shadows? No, not Lilith Hellfire. Smoking a cigarette. Catcha.
Boing.